Even some texture will appear at this stage. I'm not going to focus too much on the drawing right now. I'll only consider the drawing in places where it seems appropriate. It's no big deal if my base layer overlaps the windows a bit. For now, everything is light in tone, which works for us. Here too, we're using gray paint. Dune paint is good for the first layer or just Neapolitan. You can use peach and even mix it with blue, for example. Let me show you a mixing option. I take peach paint on the palette, mixing blue with peach paint. It gives a nice grayish shade, a mix of peach and blue paints. Dune can work for some moments, for a bit of iridescence. Here, it looks like plaster is sticking out on the wall. Let's see where else this mix might work. The paper surface is matte, which allows us to make these complex holes. I'll also check right now where else we might need this. This mix will be useful right here, in the bottom corner. Covering the space around the old boat. I'm going to cover the whole work unevenly now. Covering some areas with the first layer. The shade works on the stairs. I'll use more water in some places. Yes, I took more water here. Covering suitable spaces and places. Some areas are blurred and some have this dry texture sticking out. I like this uneven texture. Let's change the paint. Again, I take peach and will add yellow paint to it. Adding yellow, not Neapolitan, but a cooler shade, because there are different shades on the house walls. We're covering the walls. You can, of course, use a smaller brush. Let's take a brighter color, more saturated. I even added yellow-orange paint. Sunny shades in the base layer will come in handy later. There are pink shades on the walls. I don't like it when these pieces of roofs are cut off. Starting with the basics, covering the walls with pink. Some areas will have more transparent paint, some thicker. Taking the leftover pink on the palette. Opera goes well with peach. Adding yellow to the pink mix, getting what we need for the walls. I'm leaving only these metal gaps of the roofs because they have a different texture. There's greenery on the balcony, so I'll leave some space for the plants. I took a lot of pink paint in the mix, but it will come in handy. Covering the walls with the pink mix in places. I'm not afraid to use bright paint at all. With the shaggy edges of the goat brush, I'm already creating some texture for the plants. The texture for the plants will come in handy. I'm using cleaner pink shades now. On the reference, the wall shades are dirty, already worn by life. Almost everything is covered with the first layer. We're not creating any shadows yet. On the palette, there's sunny yellow, lemony, diluted now. Let's use it. I'll take more lemon in the mix. With pink, the lemon became warm. Let's mix the lemons separately. Diluting the lemon well with water. Covering the highlighted areas on the right edge of the wall with lemon. Covering the balconies on the right, doors, walls with lemon. Lightly touching with the brush to keep the sunniness, even leaving gaps near the doors. I need the sunniness. The lower door can be covered. It will come in handy. This door at the bottom will also be useful as a warm base layer. Covering the yard at the bottom too. Let's make the yard a bit gray. Adding royal blue here to cover part of the yard. The side wall on the left is left for us. Covering the remaining left wall with a bright base color. Covering the wall with a light sunny paint. Taking a thicker shade for the wall. Adding Neapolitan yellow for the left wall. We almost used Neapolitan everywhere. Now we'll go over the walls a second time. Finished with the first layer. Look at what we've got. The first base layer. Everything is covered with iridescent spots. The spots blend into each other. I'll use two colors. The reddish one will help bring in the sun and light. I'll have a dark purple haze as the base for the shadows. For the density of the purple haze, I'll add red iron oxide paint. The purple haze with iron oxide will turn brownish, adding warmth. The purple haze will reflect on the walls. In some places, the purple haze will lean more towards cool tones. There's one purple haze on the palette. Next to the pure purple haze on the palette will be its mix with iron oxide paint. I'll pick different paints from the palette as needed to have a variety of shades. The paint is already blending beautifully on the palette. I'll check how much water is in my brush. I don't need much right now. Water as needed. Let's start highlighting the roofs. There's already a reddish base under the roofs. We just highlight the cast shadows from the roofs with small strokes. If needed, we deepen the shadows. We lay down a shadow spot and add more depth with patches. We add spots and speckles for shadow depth. Here, we'll start highlighting some areas. The areas we need to highlight will be more reddish. I leave small shadows. The sun is shining from above. The building is crooked. It's not very clear from which side the sun is shining. Whether the sun is shining from the right or left side is unclear. Create some objects on wet paper, even with sharp edges, like doors, windows, shadows. It's still pleasant and easier to work when the water is in the paper. I find it easier to work on wet paper. The spot looks alive on wet paper, which is what we always aim for. It's great if the paper holds water longer. Let the outer top layer play. The front layer is always in motion, sometimes matte, sometimes we might wet it where we want. Maybe we'll spray the front side of the paper additionally, or maybe we'll wait for the paper to dry and use a dry brush. The process of working with paper depends on our intuition and play with watercolor. Soak the front side of the paper too. I like that when I wet the paper from the front, those smudges made by hand disappear. I didn't try too hard to keep it perfect in this work because the story is beautiful in its imperfection. Now I'm removing the excess water. I collect the water on the brush and squeeze it out. I'll remove the small moisture residues around the board with a paper towel or napkin. Let the paper dry naturally. Let it dry to a slight matte finish. We don't need the paper to be too matte. We need a large, beautiful base. We also need to control where our strokes will be. You can just paint the balconies evenly. Then, once it's dry, draw the railings with a liner. You can add a shadow under the sheet on the wall. There's a yellow space under the sheet on the wall. Now let's make it pinkish. We take some peach paint. Add some pink to the peach paint. It's a thick mix, a bit muddy. I'm using the leftovers from the purple haze. I want something a bit brighter. Let's mix yellow-orange with pink. We'll get some kind of complex ginger color. Mix the resulting blend with the purple haze leftovers. Start covering the shadow under the sheet. Depending on the wall color, the shadow will match. Cover the cast shadow. Make the shadow more transparent at the bottom. Add some dark specks on top.